Hello, my nibblings. Here is part 3, 2, whatever, the next part. Sorry, part two. Part two of our woven fish. Okay, so I colored my paper. I cut it into strips. If you have construction paper, you can use that. You're just going to cut it into strips also. So I've got 2 yellows cut here. I'm going to cut a third one. Okay, about the same size as the other 2. So now I have 3 yellow strips. And I have 2 brown strips and my brown paper, so I'm going to cut 1 more of that. Again, try to make them about the same thickness, okay? About the same size. So, next we're going to start putting it together. And I'm going to use tape because it's super fast. If you have glue and you want to use glue, that's fine. If you have tape and you want to use tape, that's fine. Whatever. So I'm going to start with these guys here. These pieces. My red and blues. Okay. They're kind of stuck. Okay. And we'll put that in the trash. Okay, so let's look at our pieces. Okay, so I've got my 3 blue pieces, my 3 red pieces. We'll start with those. I'm going to move my yellow and brown ones out of the way for now. All right, the first thing you're going to do, and I actually have a poster to show you. Okay, and I will take a picture of this and put it on the lesson also. So here's step 1, L shape with both colors. Okay, so I'm going to make my L shape. So if you're using tape, you probably want to just make a little loop. I'm going to put a piece on the back of a blue piece, and I'm going to tape it to my red piece so it looks like an L. Okay, you guys see that? There's my L. Okay. Step 2, glue orange on green. Okay, so I just stuck my red and blue together. Step 3. Oh, sorry. So I put my other 2 pieces on the green piece. So it goes green, orange, green. Okay, that's what I meant by glue orange on green. All right. Okay, so I've got my red and my blue. Now I'm going to take my blue and I'm going to put it on the back. Okay, leave a little space in between them. Okay, just a little bit of my table showing through. Okay, so now it goes blue, red. And now my last blue piece. Okay, I'm going to stick that on there. Again, a little bit of space showing in between them. Okay, so now it goes blue, red, blue, red. Okay, that's how you want it. The blue's on top. When you want the red, you stick it on the back. Okay, then I'm going to take my red pieces. Okay, let's look at our poster. Hey, that works. Weave green pieces over, under, over. So I'm going to weave them in here. Okay, and what that means is I'm going to take my red pieces. Whoops, I didn't mean to tear that. Oh well. And it's going to go over the blue, then under the blue, and then over the blue. Okay, so there's that piece. I'm not going to tape it yet. I'm going to wait until I'm done. My last piece of red, this one went over. This one's going to go under. It's always the opposite. Then over, and then under the next one. Okay, so there's my 3 red pieces and my 3 blue pieces. Now I can see it looks like a checkerboard pattern, so I know I did it right. And now I can start taping or gluing them in place. Okay, so I'm just going to stick a piece there. Stick that one. And I'll stick one here. You don't need to glue every single one or tape every single one, but you can see when I hold this up, they don't fall apart. Okay? Maybe I'll put a piece of tape here so that one doesn't flop around. It looks kind of silly. Okay, and if you have glue or glue stick, that will work even better. All right. Next step. Okay, so we just did 3. So 4, cut off middle strips and trim the tail. Okay, and then you can use your scraps to make a whole nother set, just smaller. Okay, so I'm going to put this back. So I need to cut off my middle strips. All right, so I got my scissors. I'm just going to carefully cut those at the same length as my blue piece. Okay, so I cut it even with the blue piece. I didn't cut the blue piece, I just cut them to even. And then I'm going to cut this blue piece even with the red piece. Okay, I didn't cut my red piece, but I cut them so they're more or less even. All right. Ugh. Okay, so there is a fish. Now, trim the tail. So if I hold it up like this, okay, there's my fish. So when I say trim the tail, I mean we're going to just trim off that extra stuff and make it nice and pointy. So he's got a pretty pointy tail. Okay, and then I can add some details to him. Let's see, where'd my black marker go? There it is. So I'm going to give him an eye and a mouth. Okay, and if you want to, you can do the same thing on the other side. Whoops. And if you wanted to color the back, you could do that too. Okay, so there's my red and blue one finished. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing with my yellow and brown. So if you have construction paper, it's the same process. Okay, so I've got my 3 yellows and my 3 browns. Okay, so remember, step 1, L shape with both colors. Okay, so I'm going to make an L shape. Again, I'm just using tape for that. You can use glue if you have it. So I'm making an L shape, like a capital letter L. See that? L. Okay. Step 2, glue orange on green. Remember, we put the orange on the front and the back. Okay. So I'm not using orange. I'm using yellow and brown. So I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to put my yellow one next, okay, because the brown is showing here. So now I'm going to put yellow. Remember to leave a little bit of space, okay, and then my last piece of yellow goes on the back. So I'll turn that over. So it goes yellow, brown, and then yellow. Again, make sure to leave a little bit of space. We don't want them touching. And if you have it, if it's too far away, your fish will have holes. If it's too close, then it's going to be really hard to weave. Okay, which brings me to step 3. Weave green pieces over, under, over. So that's what I did here. I went under, over, under, over, under, over. Okay, so I'm going to do that with my brown pieces. So it goes, right now it's going brown, yellow, brown. So with this piece, I'm going to go under it so that the yellow is showing, and then over so we see brown, and then under so yellow shows. I'm not going to tape it yet. And then my next piece, my yellow is showing here, so I'm going to make my brown showing here. Remember, we want a checkerboard. And then under, and then over. Okay, it's just a pattern. Over, under, sobre, abajo. Okay, and that one's taped, so I need to tape this one, or glue it if you have glue. And which one? Maybe this one. And where's another floppy one? I think it's back here. Yes. All right, so now all my pieces are done, and I have a checkerboard. Okay, and step 4 is to cut off the middle strips and trim the tail. Okay? All right, so I'm going to cut off my middle pieces. So remember, we're going to cut that brown even with the yellow. Okay? And then the other side, cut the yellow even with the brown. We'll move those out of the way. And there's our fish. Now I need to trim the tail. Okay, so I'm just going to trim a little bit off of that. Move those out of the way. And there is my fish. Now I can also use my marker again and add eyes and mouth. You can make him look happy or sad, however you want. Okay, so there's that side. And then this side. And here is my fish all finished. Okay. Now, at the bottom of step 4, I said you can make others with your scraps cut in half. Well, whoa, what does that mean? I'll show you. So I'm going to move my red and blue fish and my yellow and brown fish out of the way. And I've got some scraps here. I'm going to use the yellow and brown ones because they're handy. And if you cut them in half long ways, then I can make another fish, but it'll be smaller. Okay, so you could think about making a fish family. So I'm cutting my brown in half. I'm going to go ahead and cut these two, even though they're not perfectly symmetrical. That's okay. Okay, cut those. All right, now I am ready. I'm going to move my fish out of the way. Ready to start my next one. Okay, so I've got all my yellows and all my browns. All right. And this time I'm going to use glue. Oh, my glue needs to be cleaned. So I just use my thumbnail for that. That's why we have thumbnails, you know. Okay, there's my glue. All right, so step 1, L shape with both colors. So I'm going to pick one of my yellows and one of my browns. One of the ones that's not cut at the end. Okay, a little bit of glue, just a dot is all you need. I'm going to stick those together to make my L shape. All right, step 2, glue the yellow or the brown on the yellow or the brown. Okay, so I'm going to move my yellow pieces out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and put my brown ones on top of the yellow. So right now yellow is showing, so I'm going to put a dot and put a brown one. And I can use this piece that's cut because remember, we're going to cut that anyways. So that's okay. Remember to leave a little space in between the pieces. You should see table showing through. Okay. And then I'm going to flip that over. Put another dot right there next to it. And my last piece, remember to leave a little space, a little table showing through. Okay. And now I am ready to weave. Remember step 3, weave green pieces over and under. Okay, so again, I've already got a yellow piece, so for my middle one, I can use this one that's cut funny. That's okay. So right now, brown is showing up here. So I'm going to go over it with my yellow, then under, then over. Remember, we're making a checkerboard. Okay, and then my next piece, yellow is showing here, so this time it's going to go under, then over, then under. Okay, there we go. I'm going to scooch those up. There we go. Now I can put some glue. Okay. And I'm just doing little tiny dots of glue. It doesn't take much. And let's put one right here. Mush it down, make sure that glue is sticking. Okay, so there is the beginnings of my next fish. Now I need to trim the tail, trim the middle, and then the tail. Okay, so remember I'm going to cut my brown piece so it is even with my yellow one. So just cut one piece, don't cut them all. And then the next one, I'm going to cut the yellow one so it is even with the brown one. Okay, and then I'm going to trim my tail. There we go. And I can add my details, my little happy eye and my mouth. Okay, another eye, mouth. There we go. And now I have a big yellow fish, a little yellow fish, sorry, and a big yellow fish. So you could think of it as like the dad and the mom, or maybe it's mom and a little boy, or whatever. We're making a little fish family if you want to. Okay, so have fun. Make as many fish as you want out of your paper. Remember, you can also color the paper to make your fish. Okay, so have a lot of fun making your fish, and if you want to, make families out of them. Okay, bye guys. Hope you enjoyed it.